My name is Darnell Henderson, and thanks again for watching another one of my YouTube videos. Today I'm going to be doing a basic 3D Photoshop tutorial about the user interface. I'll be showing you things how to manipulate the camera and to do simple manipulation with the mesh. First thing we need to do is open up Photoshop and let's begin. So once you have Photoshop open, the first thing you need to do is make sure you're in a 3D workspace. In the top right corner, normally it's set to Essentials by default. You just want to click and make sure that you click on the 3D. Once you do that, then simply go to File, New, and you want to create a web preset. Set the resolution to 72, but for the purpose of this tutorial, anything will do. Click OK. All right, once you do that, you have a blank workspace. So instead of creating a mesh, we're just going to work with a preset one. So what you do is go down to the 3D panel and select the mesh from preset radio button, and you can select any one of them that you choose. I'm going to select the hat and then just go to create. Now what you see here is a basic mesh, which is pretty much, if you hover over it, it's highlighted by a box or a rectangle, whatever you want to call it. And this outside view is the camera view. Over here in the top left corner is your top view. So if you want to look at it from the top, you can also move this around, but I prefer to keep this how it is. So we're going to start with manipulating the camera. The first thing is orbiting the camera, which is pretty much rotating the camera around the object. And it's the first button at the top panel, which is right next to 3D mode. So what you want to do is click on the screen and you can move the object around at will. So you can look at the bottom, the top, the left, the right, anything that you pretty much want. Next we're going to do is to roll the camera, which is to pretty much tilt to the left or right. So if you can think of it as if you're looking at something and you kind of tilt your head to the left, then it moves to the right, and then vice versa. So click the second button, which is the roll, click on the screen, and then just move from left to right, and then kind of play with it and get a feel for it. The next we're going to do is to pan, which is the third button. Panning lets you move the camera like a hand tool, so you can click it and drag up to move the object down, and you can drag down to move the object or the camera up. Next is sliding camera. So if you think of it as having a camera on wheels and then just moving the camera closer and farther and to the left and right without kind of being shaky. The zoom kind of works like the up and down on the slide. The only difference is you're keeping the camera still and you're just zooming in and out. If you want to precisely manipulate, then what you can do is go to the coordinates, which is under the properties, and just simply play around with numbers to kind of get a feel. And then you can also reset to 0, 0 for the camera. But since the camera doesn't start in 0, 0, this really wouldn't be a good option. So I'm just gonna use the orbit to find an image, zoom out a little, and now we have the image back in view, and we can go into manipulating the image. So to start manipulating the image, the first thing you want to do is select the image. So right click on the image and go up here to the top panel where we selected the tools for the camera as far as rotating and rolling and all of that. So I want you to click the first button and click and rotate And as you see, the difference is we're now rotating the object in the view of the camera instead of rotating the camera around the object. We can also roll, which rolls it to the left or right. All of these tools work within the view of the camera, so the camera doesn't move when you have the object selected. You can move the object up and down, left and right, position it how you want. You can also slide the object away from you and forward. And lastly, you can scale, which scales it proportionally. So this is just quick manipulation. There's a way where you can get more precise, and if you don't have it selected already, you can click the coordinates button over in the properties and you see different XYZ values. So what happened is you can change the position, the rotation, or scale. So I'm going to scale it on each axis. Go and click the rotate. And when you enter the last value, you want to make sure you hit enter, or else you won't be able to do anything. But as you see, the image is a little bigger. It's not proportionally shaped how it was before. If you have a floating image and you want to put it on the ground, you can just hit the move to ground. And then you can also reset the coordinates simply by hitting reset. And what it does is it puts the object back to where it originally was. And you see it's upside down. That just means that I had the camera turned upside down. And you can just rotate the object, scale it. Now, if you want to scale along the y-axis or x or z quickly, then you can use the box on the axis arrow, which is the closest to the white box. Let me rotate so you can see. And simply scale along one axis. The second one, which is kind of a curved bar, is the rotate tool. This allows you to rotate. And then the last one is just the move. It allows you to move it along the axes. A good way to remember the arrows is X, Y, Z, RGB. If you keep them in order, then you can't go wrong. And this is just a basic tutorial on how to work with the 3D interface in Photoshop. And I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel again.